Okay, so you've just picked out the perfect new dishwasher for your dream kitchen. The cabinets are in, those countertops are gleaming, but hold on. Before you get that thing installed, you need to know about two little hidden rules that can cause some major headaches and maybe even stop your renovation right in its tracks. Let's break them down. And this right here is the moment that makes so many homeowners just see red. You spent a ton of money on this gorgeous slab of quartz or granite, and now some building code you've never even heard of says you have to drill a hole right through it. For what? A little plastic cap? It feels absolutely maddening. But, well, there is a reason for it. That is the big question, isn't it? And that's exactly what we're tackling. We're going to pull back the curtain on these super confusing requirements, explain why they even exist, and most importantly, show you the smart ways to deal with them without messing up your kitchen's design. So, when it comes to your new dishwasher, there are two potential headaches that catch pretty much everyone by surprise. We're talking about a plumbing puzzle and an electrical enigma, and we're going to get into both of them, starting with the plumbing. The first issue is all about something called an air gap, which is just a little device that prevents a really gross, dirty water disaster. And the second one? That's about a mandatory safety feature called a GFCI, and it's there to protect you from a nasty electric shock. All right, let's dive into that plumbing puzzle. This is all about preventing what might just be the grossest possible kitchen scenario. You know, dirty, backed up sink water flooding right back into your dishwasher full of supposedly clean dishes. Yuck. And the official solution often involves that countertop marring device, the air gap. So what in the world is an air gap? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's just a small fitting, usually a little chrome cylinder, that pops up on your countertop right near the faucet. Its entire job is to create a physical break in the dishwasher's drain line. That break makes it literally impossible for contaminated water to siphon backward. Now, there are two big reasons this tiny device is such a big deal. The first one is just functional. It's for safety, to stop that gross backflow. But the second reason is legal. In a lot of places, especially states like California, it's not a friendly suggestion, it's the law. You won't pass your plumbing inspection without it. And here you can see exactly why it matters. Look, without an air gap, if your sink gets clogged, all that gross water can just flow right back down the tube and into your dishwasher. But with an air gap in place, that same clog just makes water spill harmlessly into the sink basin. It's a really simple but totally crucial safety feature. But here's the real heart of the problem. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to drill an extra hole in their beautiful new stone countertop. I mean, not only is there a small risk of cracking the whole slab, but it just ruins that clean, seamless look that you paid a lot of money for. Thankfully, there's some good news. If your local code allows for it, there is an elegant and completely hidden alternative. It's called the high loop, and it does the exact same safety job without drilling a single hole. The high loop method is incredibly simple. Seriously, you just take the dishwasher's drain hose, you loop it up as high as it can possibly go under the sink, we're talking literally touching the underside of the countertop, and then you strap it there. This high point uses good old gravity to create a natural barrier which stops that dirty water from ever flowing back. All right, so that takes care of the plumbing. Now let's move on to our second big headache, the electrical enigma. This rule is all about a safety device called a GFCI, and these days it's a non-negotiable requirement that's become totally standard. You know, this quote just says it all. When you really stop and think about it, a dishwasher is a pretty wild combination of things, right? You've got water and high-voltage electricity inside a big metal box. If a leak develops or something fails, that whole metal frame could become electrified. That's a huge shock risk. And if this rule feels kind of new to you, or maybe even to your contractor, well, that's because it is pretty new. The National Electrical Code only started requiring GFCI protection for dishwashers back in 2014, and it took a few more years for them to clarify that this rule applies to all dishwashers, even the hardwired ones. So yeah, it's a relatively recent safety upgrade. Okay, so we know why we need a GFCI, but how do we actually deal with it in the real world? This part is all about installing it correctly, and, maybe more importantly, what to do when your dishwasher starts tripping the circuit, a problem people call nuisance tripping. So here's the practical challenge. A GFCI has that little test and reset button on it. If you install that outlet behind the dishwasher, you'd have to pull the entire appliance out of the cabinet just to press a button. That's completely ridiculous. So electricians have a couple of really smart workarounds. Professionals usually go with one of two solutions. The first is a GFCI breaker. This gets installed right in your main electrical panel, and it protects the whole circuit. The second, and probably more common solution, is to just put the GFCI outlet in a spot you can actually get to, like inside the cabinet right under your sink. Both options work, they both solve the reset problem, and they're both up to code. Now let's talk about the frustration. You've done everything right, the installation is perfect, but your dishwasher keeps tripping the GFCI. It is so easy to blame the new, super sensitive outlet, but here's the secret. The GFCI is probably not the problem. It's just doing its job. So if this is happening to you, it means that GFCI is detecting what's called a ground fault, which is just a fancy way of saying a tiny leak of electricity. The real question isn't what's wrong with my GFCI, it's what's wrong with my dishwasher that's causing this leak. And these are the usual suspects. As a dishwasher gets older, its motor can just start to leak a teensy bit of current. Or even more commonly, the heating element that dries the dishes can get a tiny crack. When moisture gets in there, boom, you've got a fault. The GFCI sees that danger and instantly cuts the power to protect you. So, we have covered the plumbing puzzle of the air gap and the electrical enigma of the GFCI. Let's bring this all home with the one piece of advice that turns all the frustration of these hidden rules into the confidence of knowing you did the job right. This is it. This is the single most important thing to remember. While the high loop method and an under-sink GFCI are fantastic solutions, your local building code is the ultimate boss. Before you or your contractor does anything, a quick call to your local building department can be the difference between a smooth project and a really costly, frustrating delay. So I'll just leave you with this one thought. These rules, they're not there to make your life difficult. They're there to keep you and your family safe. By understanding them before you start, you can make sure your dream kitchen isn't just beautiful, but that it's also perfectly safe and 100% up to code.